Hello and good morning friends, welcome to the CEC-UGC live lecture. Dear friends, with another lecture in series on new media. Today we would be talking on content management system. We would be discussing in detail what actually content management system is. And for this very discussion we have once again with us in our studios Dr. Anubhuti Yadav. Dr. Anubhuti Yadav is HOD New Media, Indian Institute of Mass Communication. Dr. Yadav has immense knowledge and immense experience, and we believe that her knowledge as well as experience would help us out in understanding the topic content management system. So dear friends, let's welcome our guest Dr. Anubhuti Yadav and let's try to grab maximum knowledge through her. Hello ma'am, welcome to the EduSec lecture.
Thank you Gitika. Good morning everyone. Today we'll be talking about content management system, and more specifically we'll be talking about managing content on news websites. As we know that nowadays, in addition to the print newspaper or television channels, we access all the news websites to get the news. So how to manage content and how the content is managed there on these news websites, this is something which we are going to talk about today. Let's take one example first. Just think about the Google News or Yahoo News. Most of the time, we in the morning we access either Google News or Yahoo News for the information. Sometimes we want to see videos also. We want to see image gallery also. So we access these platforms to get the information which we want to have. Now when we go to this particular website, and if we take the example of Yahoo, on an average day Yahoo receives around more than 5,000 articles, more than 6,000 images and more than 500 videos. And this is the content which they receive from the journalists from around 50 to 70 media organizations with whom they have actually partnered, and these people, they send them these information. Now look at the amount of information which these particular platforms are getting every day. And managing this amount of information is a very difficult task. And if you talk about a number of people working on that particular thing, for example, the news editors. So if you take the example of Yahoo, there are only 5 or 6 news editors working on this. So how this actually work? How this functions? When here we are talking about thousands of news items, thousands of images, and then only 5 or 6 people handling that particular content. That is actually made possible through content management system. So whenever one particular news item comes or one particular article comes, it only takes 15 seconds to appear on the home page of that particular portal or that particular website. So the entire thing is being taken care of by their content management system. Now this is something which happens on an average day. Now think about a situation where this something important has happened. There can be devastation. There can be some accident. Think about the 9/11 attacks. Think about the Nepal earthquake. And on those particular days, the number of people who are visiting these websites for information is very huge. So at that point of time also it becomes very difficult to manage that the amount of information and then delivering that particular content to the target audience. And at that time also the content management system helps the news editors and the media organizations a lot in delivering the content to the right people at the right time. So this is what we are going to talk about, how content management system works. When we are talking about the content, we are talking about the collection of the articles, images, videos, and when we are talking about the management, we are talking about how this particular content is managed, because this content moves in the different stages. For example, first the reporters, they have to conduct the research, the reporting is required to collect the information, and once the information is there, then you have to sift that, you have to edit that particular information, and then it is displayed on one particular home page or the web page of one particular website. So it passes through the different stages. So what is the role of a news editor there? and how the CMS works, who are the people who are responsible for creating this CMS, because CMS is just a platform, it's just a computer application, and obviously someone has to tell the CMS that this is what exactly we want. For example, if the news items are coming from the different organizations, obviously they'll be in the different formats. The font size would be different, the font would be different, the way the headlines are written, that would be different, the way the images are inserted in that particular news article, that will be different. So, but when we look at the website, we find there is a uniformity. We find that they become part of one particular page, and every there is a uniformity when the content is being placed on a one particular home page. So how it is done? So obviously someone has to tell the CMS, or like someone has to sit with the programmers or the coders, and especially the journalists have to do that. So this is something which has to be developed in coordination with the journalist and the programmers, because the journalists, they know what exactly they want, and the programmers actually help them out in creating that particular CMS. So this is what we are going to talk about today, the content management system, which is very important nowadays. In this lecture, one is that we are going to understand what the CMS is. Second is we are going to develop skills to create and edit in CMS. So usually what happens that when we look at the news websites and all, and when the things are moving there, and that too at a very fast pace, we feel that it's very difficult. It might be very difficult to work on that that particular website and all, but it's not like that. You just have to develop that skill, and you need to practice a little bit to be comfortable working on any CMS. Then we'll also try and understand what happens to a content as it moves to a separate component of CMS at each stage in the content life cycle, and then the develop understanding of CMS so as to guide the programmers. This is the most important thing. As a journalist, as a student of journalism, why do we have to study CMS, content management system, which is otherwise considered as something which is there in the domain of the computer science, or maybe like in computing. But here what we are saying is that, one, yes, if we go and join industry, and if we have to work on any online portal, we have to work on certain CMS, so we should know how to work on that. Also, like if we have to develop certain CMS, if we have the knowledge of any content management system, we can always guide the programmers that this is something which we would like to have in our content management system. So the first is the introduction. So when we talk about the introduction, and when we talk about developing a website or creating a website using certain CMS, if you look at the way this particular concept is evolving, from the 1998 to 2007, most of the websites, they were made using HTML or CSS. So HTML is hypertext markup language, and CSS is the cascading style sheet basically used for the designing of the website, and even the Flash was used. So this is something which was used from 98 to 2007. But after that, a lot of changes had happened, and that changes happened with the coming of content management system. And the moment the content management system came into picture, that has actually started to dominate the game over static HTML sites. So, and the reasons for this is, one, because if you think about creating a website, many a times we feel that it's a very, very difficult task. But if you're using a content management system, one, it is very cheap, which means that the most of the content management systems and the software are the open source software. They are free to use, which means that you can download them. Those are freely available, and you can use them. You don't have to buy that particular thing, and especially the major content management system I'm talking about. The second reason is like why it is dominating the scene is the speed. If you look at the development of website and if you start developing a website using HTML and all, it takes a lot of time. The coding takes a lot of time. But if you're using CMS, because most of the things are already being done, you just have to place the things wherever you want to place them, and it makes your task very quicker. It becomes very faster. So within 30 minutes you can set up a very good website, provided you have a content for that. So if you have visualized that, okay, this is the kind of website I would like to make, if you know what are the objectives of your website, if you know that, okay, these would be the features of my website and that this should be the kind of homepage I would like to have, then it won't take you more than 30 minutes to develop one particular website. And the third thing, it's easier. Since you don't need much coding or programming skills, it becomes very easier. Anyone can work on that particular thing. So you do not have to have a graduation in computer science to develop a website now. Even like if you have the knowledge of CMS, you can easily create a website. So now coming on to what is CMS? What exactly is CMS? The content management system, it's a computer application that allows publishing, editing and modifying content, organizing, deleting as well as maintenance from a central interface, which means that there is a central interface, and these are the things which you can do using that particular application, which includes publishing, editing and modifying content, organizing, deleting as well as the maintenance. And such system of content management provide procedures to manage workflow. This is something which is very important, that it helps in managing workflow and managing workflow in a collaborative environment, which means that it's not only a one person who is handling that particular website. If you have a different sections in the website, those different sections can be handled by the different people, and this is the beauty of a content management system, which means that the different users can take different roles, and they can also contribute in maintaining that particular website, creating content, posting content. So it is basically like it has actually decentralized the whole system of working on a website. You can work in a collaborative environment. Then the CMSs are often used to run websites containing blog, news and shopping. Many corporate and marketing websites use CMS. A number of websites nowadays, they use CMS, yes, there are a number of websites which are made using HTML also, but since it is very quick, since it is very fast, there are a number of CMS available, there are a number of beautiful themes available, so the people tend to explore CMS more than starting something from scratch, which means using HTML and all. So now if you talk about the leaders in CMS, so now we know that what exactly the content management system, we know that it's a computer application which allows us to do number of things using a central interface, and we know that there are a number of things which we can do, and as a journalist one can publish article, they can create content there, they can delete article, they can manage the request which they receives from the the subscribed consumers or the people who have subscribe to that particular website. So there are a number of things which people can do collaboratively. So this is what the CMS is. Now let us try to understand what all players do we have in content management system. So if I'm saying that instead of HTML one can explore CMS and start creating website. So out of all the CMS platforms available, which are the platforms which are commonly used by the number of people, corporate houses, organizations. So for those who want to build the powerful websites, there are three major choices available. One is WordPress. And WordPress is something which we'll be going to talk about in detail. Second one is Joomla, and the third one is Drupal. Now they are all very nice system, excellent system. It makes your work of creating a website quick and easy, and also it depends what kind of the CMS you would like to use, because these three are the leaders in the market, WordPress, Joomla and Drupal. And the people say that if they start with the WordPress, they prefer to stay with the WordPress throughout their life. And the people who start with the Joomla, they would like to stay with that particular platform. So which means that they are very nice platform, and the moment you start working with that, you feel that yes, you're comfortable with that particular system, and then you prefer to work on those particular CMS only. So this is something which you have to decide at the very beginning, because there are very few people who move from one platform to another. For example, I started with WordPress, so I feel very comfortable working on a WordPress. I don't feel like moving on to Joomla and Drupal, because WordPress offers me all the features which I would like to have in any of my websites. So this is something which you have to decide right now. What content management system would you like to use? Then let us review the popularity of these CMS, which is very important, because if we have to start working on a CMS, we need to know how popular they are. This is the graph which I have taken from the DataNice website. Now this DataNice website, I'll show you the website also. This website actually provides you the information about the different technologies, and how these different technologies are faring in the market, how they are performing in the market, and this talks about the market share. Now if you look at this particular graph, this is a graph about the CMS technology, and the way they calculate is that here, like when we are talking about this percentage, this represents the number of websites using given technology given by the total number of websites using any of the technology, which means that here we are talking about all the websites which are using CMS as a technology, and out of those websites, what are the different platforms which are being used. For example, when we talk about this particular graph, WordPress.org is the most popular the content management system out of all the content management systems which are available, and the second is WordPress.com. Then you have Joomla, then you have Blogger, then the Tumblr, Drupal. So these are the different the content management system, and according to how they are faring in the market, how they are performing in the market. So the first one is the WordPress.org, then you have WordPress.com, then you have Joomla, then you have Blogger, then you have Microsoft front page. So these are the number of CMS which are being used, and as you can see that the WordPress.org is the most popular. Now here you can see two things. One is that the WordPress.org, and another one is WordPress.com. There is a difference between the two. We'll talk about this when we'll reach on to creating a website using WordPress as a CMS. So we'll discuss this particular thing at that point of time. So this is the we are talking about the figure, the world figure, but if you look at the India and the popularity of these particular CMS in one particular country, so this is how this particular technology is performing in India. In India also, WordPress.org is the most popular. Then you have Joomla, then you have Microsoft front page, and then the WordPress.com. So this is how this is the market share, CMS market share, both in the world and in our country. Now I'll just give you a glimpse of this DataNice website, because it is a very nice website, nice platform. If you are using any technology, you can go and see how this particular technology is performing, how it is faring in the market, because you need to have the comparative analysis before you choose any one technology for your work. It could be CMS, it could be, for example, you want to know about the online video platforms, you want to know about the email services, you want to know about the hosting services. All sort of information is available on this particular website. So I'll take you through the website of the DataNice right now. Now this is the website. here you have the technology industries. This is the web technology market share, technology industry. So, I mean, whatever you want to use, like whatever you are working on. And in fact, for this, you can always give suggestion to the people, if you are not working on it, this is a technical field. So most of the time, being in the field of journalism, you might not be working on this directly, but you can always give suggestion to the people who are working on it, and you can help them shortlist a one particular technology for any work which you are planning to do. In this, for example, we have ad servers, CMS, CAPTCHA, hosting, logistics. So there's a huge list, and you can find out the popularity of one particular technology using this DataNice platform. Now, DataNice platform, another thing when we talk about this DataNice platform, which is very important, and this is like how they select these particular websites. So for example, if I'm talking about CMS, so how they select that particular thing, they take help from the Alexa. So what they do, they select websites from this Alexa according to the Alexa ranking. So they take top 1 million or top 10,000. So this is how they take. So there are two things which are working parallelly. One is the DataNice, which is analyzing like which are the websites which are using the different technologies and all, and also they are taking the information from the Alexa, which means that they are only they are only studying the top 1 million or top 10,000 websites according to the Alexa ranking. So now I'll just show you the Alexa platform also, because that is also very important to know. This is the Alexa website, which means that if you want to know about your own website, how your website is performing. So this is you just have to enter the name of your website, and you'll be able to know like how many people are coming, what is the global rank of your website, the rank in India also. Then audience, which means like right now I have taken the website which is cec.nic.in. So you can see the audience also, like from where people are coming. So if we talk about CEC, 96% of the people, they are coming from India. Then how engaged are visitors to CEC, so which means like what is the bounce rate, daily page views. So this is the kind of information which you get. And then the search traffic. You also get to know like what are the keywords people are using to reach onto this particular website. So they're using CEC, they're using ADUSAT, they're using Election Commission. I don't know why, but still, the Election Commission is there. Then the Vyas is there. So these are the keywords which are used to reach your website. Also, where do CEC website visitor go next? Once they are there on your website, and after that, they have seen the content on the website, where do they visit, after viewing content from this particular website? So these are the kind of information which you'll get. In addition to that, if you want to have the comparative analysis, you can do the comparative analysis also. So if you have, like, you want to compare one particular website, for example, if I want to compare Google with the Facebook with Yahoo, so that comparative analysis is also possible. So I would suggest that you should explore these two websites, because this is very important when we are talking about the content management system, and when we are talking about the popularity of any of such technology. So DataNice is one platform which you need to see, and the Alexa is another platform which you should explore. So this is these are some of the screenshots which I have taken. So, but this is like one website that is like the IMC website. Here also this is the Alexa ranking, and you can see over the period, how the people are coming onto your website, and you can see the trend. So if you can see that a lot of people were coming here on this particular website in August, and then this particular graph is going down. So, and the reason, one can easily make out the reason, because this is the admission period, and a lot of people, they visit this particular website because they want to know like the admission process, and they want to fill up the form, they want to know about the courses, and once the admission process is done, this graph goes down. Also, if you want to do the comparative analysis, this is something which I have done using the Alexa only. The only thing which you have to do is here, you just have to write the name of the different website. You just have to enter the URL of that particular site. It will give you the comparative analysis of those particular website. This is something which I have done for the top the online platform. I've done it for the Yahoo, Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. And this is how you can see, how these are placed according to the people who are coming on to this particular website. Then this is another platform. Now this is something which is very interesting. If you look at this particular graph, this shows, the ups and downs. And this clearly shows that, there is the one particular time wherein people are coming, and then suddenly the people, they stop visiting that particular website. And this shows that, on any website, this happens when you organize certain events. For example, monthly, if you organize certain events, and when you launch an event, at that point of time, a lot of people will come onto your website. And once the event is over, then obviously it'll go down, and then again when you launch another event, the people will start coming onto your website. So this is the trend which shows that that there are a number of events which are being organized, and that's why one is that at one particular time there are a lot of visitors are there, and then a lot of visitors are there in another month at the launch of another event. So this is another thing. Now the comparison between these platform. So when we talk about the WordPress, the WordPress is basically for the beginners. If you really want to start developing a website and you don't know anything about this particular thing, so WordPress is a very good platform. Second is the Joomla. Joomla is basically for the e-commerce types of site, but require at least some level of technical coding. And then the Drupal. So these are the three different content management systems which we have, using which we can create website, we can create the news website, we can create the e-commerce website. WordPress out of this is the easiest one, and in our next lecture we'll be talking about WordPress in detail, how you can develop your own website using WordPress as a content management system. Thank you. Hello, we were talking about the content management system, and now we know what exactly the content management system. It's a central interface which allows you to do a lot of things on a website. It allows you to create content, publish content there, play with the images, with the videos. So there's a lot you can do using content management system. We've done the comparison also, which means that we know that now that there are three major players as far as the content management system is concerned in market. One is the WordPress. WordPress is actually best for the beginners, and it works for small to medium sized websites and blogs. Joomla is another one which is mainly used for the e-commerce, but it requires some amount of technical coding. And then the Drupal, which is the hardest to understand, but it is a very robust and a very strong content management system. It allows us to do the number of things if we develop our website using Drupal as a content management system. But for the beginners, for those who would like to initiate this particular thing and would like to start developing websites, the WordPress is the most the popular and the best platform to begin with. And it's not only to begin with, in fact, like nowadays most of the websites are made using the WordPress content management system, because it's very easy to work on that particular system. So if you talk about the WordPress, WordPress is no longer a blogging tool. The moment we talk about WordPress, the one thing which comes very often from people is that okay, it's a blogging tool, but it is not only a blogging tool. Yes, it actually started as a blogging tool, but it has evolved over as a robust content management system. Now, using WordPress, you can create a very nice, beautiful website. So it's not just a blogging; it is a blogging tool also, but it's much more than a blogging tool, and it offers you thousands of plugins. Plugins, basically in computing, the plugins are the add-ons, which means that there are certain features of one particular content management system which allows, and if you want to add certain other features, then you need to have the plugins. So WordPress has thousands of plugins. For example, I'm creating a website and I would like to have a video gallery in my website, so I can have a plugin of a video gallery. Or if I'm working on an e-commerce website and I would like to have a plugin of the payment gateway, so that is something which is also possible. So the reason why it has evolved as a content management system is that it offers you thousands of plugins. Also, there are thousands of widgets. Widgets is basically the elements of the graphical user interface, which allows you to display some kind of content on the website, or allows people to work or click on the certain elements. For example, if you want to have a search button, if you see a search button on a website, that is a widget there. If you see a calendar there, that is the widget there. So the only thing which you have to do is, when you work on a backend, you just have to add those widgets to your website. So there are a number of widgets which are available. Widgets means that it's the elements of the graphical user interface, and it allows you to display some content on your website. And then the themes, this is very important. The first thing, the moment we start thinking that, we have to develop a website or we have to design a website, so the one thing which comes to our mind, and that's the first thing which comes to our mind, and that is the design of that particular website, the theme of that particular website. So the WordPress offers a lot of themes, which means that if you want to make a website on education, so there are a number of themes available on that. There are websites which are the themes which are related to the promotion of the content, the educational content. Then there are themes which are for the universities, for the colleges, if you want to have a college specific or university specific website. If you want to have an e-commerce website, then there are a number of other themes available. If you want to have a travel website, so there are themes for that. If you want to have a individual websites, where, for example, if you want to create a website on you want to have your own website, so there are a number of themes available for that also. So you just have to choose those themes and you just have to customize that particular thing. So that's how we can say that WordPress is not just a blogging tool, it is actually a content management system, and it's a very robust content management system, because it allows us to have number of plugins, it has number of widgets available, and it has number of themes available. Now If you talk about the web, WordPress, as we have discussed, that it dominates the web. Everything from the simple website to blogs to complex portals and enterprise websites and even applications are built with the WordPress. So there are certain advantages of using WordPress. So let's talk about what are the advantages and why is it that the WordPress is at the top amongst all the CMS, and it's the most popular content management system. The first advantage is the simplicity. It's very simple. So for example, if you start working on one particular website, and if you have to post content there, the text editor is just like your Word application. If you are working on MS Word or any other open source text editor, so it's as simple as that. You just have to type, you can insert links there, you can insert images there. So if you are comfortable with any of your text editor, you'll be able to work with the WordPress also. So the first thing is that it's very, very simple. Second is it's very flexible. So as I said that it's not that one theme is available to you and now you have to work with that particular theme only. As I said that there are a number of plugins available, so you can play with that. There's a lot of flexibility when you start working with WordPress as a content management system. Publish with ease. Whatever you want to publish, whatever content you want to publish, you can publish with ease. It's the text editor is very easy to work with. There are a number of publishing tools available. For example, for the text, you have publishing tools. Then for the videos, for the audio, so there are a number of publishing tools available. Then the user management. This is something which is very important, because when we were talking about the content management system, and I've mentioned it earlier that here we are talking about managing the workflow, and that too in a collaborative environment. So user management is something which is very, very important. Here what you can do is that you can give different roles to the different people. You can invite them as editor, you can invite them as administrator, you can invite them as a contributor, you can invite them as an author. So which means that the user management is something which is very, very important here in WordPress, and that can be handled in a very easy way. And then the media management, as I said that you can play with number of media elements. You can embed a lot of interactives. You can embed story maps, timelines. You can embed videos in that particular content management system. So it's the media management is something which is also available and which is very easy to use. And this is the full standard compliance. Then easy theme system, which means that whatever theme you want to choose, it's just like a click of a button. You can click on that particular thing and the entire thing will be transferred to another theme. Then extend with plugins. This is something which we had already talked about. You can have number of thousands of plugins. So whatever you want to have, whatever new feature you would like to have in your website, you can have it by having plugins. And then the built-in comments. This is something which is very important when we are talking about the content management system, and especially when we are talking about the website using the Web 2.0 technology. Now that's the most important thing. It's not that you've created a website just to give information to the people. You should use that as a platform to engage with your target audience. So here there is a built-in comment system. So whatever article you are actually posting there on your website, there is a comment box, and in the comment box people can come and they write their comments. But you have the power, which means that when we are talking about the news websites, we have seen all sort of comments there, and you would not like certain comments to be there on in that particular comment box. So like you can always moderate that particular thing. So that possibility is also there. Then it is search engine optimized. This is very important. If you are creating a website using WordPress as a content management system, there are more chances that it will come on the search engine result page, which means that the Google index the websites which are made using WordPress as a content management system very faster, and they index those particular website, and that's how we can see on the Google search engine result page. So it's search engine optimized, and the reason it is search engine optimized is that one, it's it is developed using WordPress content management system, and the WordPress content management in itself, the entire theme and the structure of the website is such that it becomes search engine optimized. Then the multilingual, this is very important. For example, you want to develop website in the different languages. You want to have it in English, you want to have it in Hindi, you want to have it in Marathi, you want to have it in any language, any regional language, or any international language. I mean, you can use any language, and it is the multilingual. You can develop website on that. And this is something which is very, very important, because nowadays, if we talk about the digital divide, one of the major reason for the digital divide, especially like when we talk about India, is the paucity of the content in the regional languages. So if you go to the web, most of the content which is available is in English. So even if the people have access to internet, and the content is available in English, so there's no point. So there need to be a content in the regional languages, in the Hindi language, so that the people can access content, they can consume the information. So this is a very important part of the WordPress content management system, that you can have the websites in the different languages. Then easy installation and upgrades, which means that it's very easy to install. I mean, we'll see like how it can be installed and it can be upgraded. Then the importers, there are a number of importers. For example, you want to switch from, one particular website to another website. You're using Blogger as a content management system, but now you want to shift to, the WordPress, or from WordPress you want to shift to somewhere else. So the importers are there for that. Also own your data. The entire data is with you. You can have the entire backup with you. That's another thing. Freedom, then the community, that's another thing, community, building community. And when you're talking about the WordPress actually, as it is, an open source software, obviously like there are a lot of people who are involved in building up this particular software. Other than that, they are involving community for the dissemination of information related to this particular software. And there are a number of meetups which are available, wherein people can come together and discuss about this particular software. They share their experiences. So the involvement of community is there, not only in the creation and the development of the software, but even in the dissemination of the software. And contribute means, like as I said, that it's an open source. So if you want to contribute in terms of your services to this particular software, you want to translate something, you can do that. You can you want to contribute towards the development of the software, that is also possible. You want to contribute in popularizing this particular software, that possibility is also there. So this is the beauty of working with any open source software. So now let's have a look at some of the websites which are made using the content management system, that is the WordPress. This is the first website. This is narendramodi.in, and this particular website is made using this WordPress content management system. This is another website. This is a news website, and here you can see that on the header, there are a number of tabs: news, culture, book and fiction, science and technology, business, humor, magazine, archive, and this is also made using WordPress content management system. Then this is the Bata, we all know this, and that's an Indian brand. The Time magazine. So these are the websites which are made using WordPress as a content management system. Now we'll come on to, we know that the WordPress, we know that what are the advantages of this. We've seen some of the examples, and there are a number of websites. I mean, you can always surf it on the internet, and you can find out that there are thousands and lakhs of websites which are made using WordPress as a content management system. But now, if we have to set up a website, so what is the process for this? As we have discussed, when we were looking at the stats and when we were looking at the popularity of the the different content management system, both the data, the world data and the Indian data, there we had seen two things. One was the WordPress.com and another one was the WordPress.org. So the first is like we have to differentiate between the two. What exactly, both are WordPress. So what is the difference between the .com and .org? Now, if you look at the extension, .com stands for the commercial and the .org stands for the organization. Now, if you look at the WordPress.com, why do they have .com when they are saying that, it's an open source software, right? It's a free software. They have .com is that, when we talk about any open source movement, to sustain that movement, you need to have, some inflow of some funds. So they have established this WordPress.com, wherein what they're doing, the people can go to this particular platform and they can create their site. But when you create your site, you get the subdomain. You don't get that domain because you don't buy any domain. So if you have to create a website which is called, for example, New Delhi, so the website would be newdelhi.wordpress.com instead of newdelhi.com. So here, when you are making website, you're working on the subdomain. Also, another point when we are talking about the WordPress.com is that how they make money using this particular thing, and then they use that particular money in the development of the software. In WordPress.com, there are a number of free themes available. There are thousands of free themes available, but if you want something specific, then there are paid themes also. So for that, you have to purchase that particular theme, and then you can start working on that particular thing. So that's the way they generate revenue, and that is something which is used in the development of this particular software. WordPress.org, if you go to this particular website, that's their website, that's their organizational website, and on that website the WordPress software is there. So when the WordPress software is there, you can download that particular software free of cost, and then you have to buy the domain name and the hosting space if you want to develop a website and you want to host that website and you want to make that particular website public to the world. So this is the major difference between the .com and the .org. Two platforms are used. One is to generate certain revenue so that they can sustain that open source movement and contribute to the development of that particular software. In .com, most of the things are freely available, but there are certain themes which are paid themes for which people have to pay. But the organization.org is their organization's website wherein the software is lying, and you can download it and you can start working on that particular thing. So that's why we have .com and .org. So the people are using both the platforms. They are using .com also for making their website, and they are using .org also for making their website. Now, these are the two websites which have been created using the WordPress, and this will tell you the difference. For example, in the first website is the newmediaforum.org. And the second website is, the OER, which means oer.wordpress.com. So in the second website, you know that it's a subdomain. And in this first website, we have our own domain name. If you look at the design, it's almost the same. Right? If you look at the design, you don't see that, is there any difference between, these two websites. But if you look at the back end of, these two websites, they are different. And what is the major difference do we have if we create website using .com and if we create website using .org? This is something which I'll tell you right now. This is the dashboard of New Media Forum, which means that wherein you have your own domain name. So newmediaforum.org. Now, if you look at the left hand side here, you'll see the plugins here. Now, these plugins are not there in the oer.wordpress.com. So which means that if you are working on .org, that offers you this opportunity wherein you can have a lot of plugins. But if you are working with .com, you won't find any plugins. There are a number of features which are already available there, and you have to work with those features only. And there are a number of features available. If you want to set up a simple website, that is possible using WordPress.com also. But if you are building on an organizational website and you want to integrate a lot of other plugins also, so for that you have to have the .org, which means that you need to have your own domain name and you need to have your own hosting space. So now this was the major difference between the .com and .org. Now if you have to set up your own website, how would you do that? I'll tell you for the .org, .com is very easy, which means that if you go to www.wordpress.com and there they'll say that if you want to start your own website, you just give the name of your website, and when you create a name, you'll reach the dashboard. I'll show you the dashboard also. But if you have to set up your own website, what is the process for that? So the first thing is that when we set up a website, we have to choose a domain name and hosting. There are a number of services available for this. So here, this is one service available. You can go and you can use, you can view certain web hosting plans. And this is something which you have to fill up, which means that if you want to register a new domain, you just have to enter the domain name, and even the extensions are given here. So which means if you want to have .com, if you want to have .edu, if you want to have .in, so that is something which you have to select. And if that domain name is available, which means if it is not taken by anyone else, it will be given to you. Then you have to see your plan, which means like package, like what kind of package, and the billing. The moment you make your payment using any of the hosting services, or like if you want to buy a domain name, so if you when you've completed your payment procedure, then this is something which will be sent to you, which means that this is something which will be emailed to you. One is that your domain name, so this is what I got when I set up this newmediaforum.org, your IP, username, new media, and then the password will be given to you, and then the name server, like where your website is hosted. And so this is the information which you will receive. Now once you have received this information, the only thing which you have to do is that you have to go to www.wordpress/cPanel. cPanel is basically a control panel. There, like whatever the username was sent to you, you have to enter that username and password. The moment you do it, after that you'll reach here. This is something which you'll get. This is the cPanel, and here there are a number of the applications available. Now you just have to go to WordPress if you are working on WordPress. If you're working on Joomla, you have to go to Joomla. If you want to work on OpenCart, you go to OpenCart, and you just have to click it. It will get installed by one click, and then you need to install it. And then simply what you have to do is, after that you just have to select the theme, right? Whatever theme which is suitable for your website, and you have to select that particular theme, and then you have to start working on your website. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show, this is very simple, if you follow these steps, so these are the steps which are being you have to follow if you have to set up a website. And once you have done this, then you will reach the dashboard. And how this dashboard looks like, I'll show you the dashboard of one of the platform which I have created. Now this is something which you can see. This is a website. It's a very simple website, and this website was created for one particular course. And in this website you can see there are the tabs which are available, then there are sub menus, there is a gallery, resources, student works, teams. So this is the feature which we have. Then you have the image gallery also. You have the the Facebook plugin also. Then you have the editors also. As I mentioned, that you can have the number of editors, you can have the authors. So, and there is an image gallery also. So that's a basic, very simple website which had been created. And I'll just show you the admin part of it, the center interface which we were talking about. And this is basically the admin part of this particular website. And as we've mentioned, that it's very easy to work on this particular platform. So we'll just have a look at how easy it is to work on this platform. This is the dashboard. You can have a look at this. So for example, if you want to write any article, if you want to post any article, you just have to add new. If you add new, it will give you a text editor. So using that text editor, which is like your Microsoft, you just have to give the title of your the article, and then you have to write about that particular thing. If you want to add media, which means that if you want to add images or if you want to add video, you can use videos also. You can add poll also if you want to have views of the people on certain things. You can add contact form also. So there are a number of things available, but it's very easy to use. Also, like if you look at the appearance, if you look at this particular website, and when you go to appearance, there are themes available. There are thousands of themes. You can customize those themes, which means that if you want to change color, background, font, everything can be done. The number of widgets are there. Then if you want to change the header, you can change that. You want to change the background, you can change that. And then second is, as I said in the very beginning, that the user management is very easy here. So here is something which you can do. I mean, you can invite new users, which means that this is something which has been created by me, but I want other people also to work on this particular website. So you can invite new viewers, you can invite editors also, you can invite authors also. So this is an invitation. You just have to write the name of these particular people, whosoever you want to invite and you want to collaborate with. As far as this particular website is concerned, you have to define the role, which means that here you just have to click whether you want them to associated with this particular website as a contributor, author, editor, administrator, follower. You just write a message for them and send an invitation. So this is basically the dashboard of the WordPress.com, and as you can see that there are no plugins here. So which means that I've used www.wordpress.com, and it does not allow me that feature of plugins. But if you can see here, there are a number of features which are available, and using which I can make a one basic website. So this is all about WordPress as a content management system. As far as working on a content management system, you've seen that it's not at all difficult. It's very easy. You just need to explore, and you need to have some experience, and you need to do practice on these particular platforms. And since it's available free of cost, you don't have to pay anything. So maybe like today you can start working on your own website. So the first step is that you have to go to www.wordpress.com, and from there you can start working. You just have to write your domain name, whatever you would like to have. If it is available, it will be given to you. If it is not, they'll suggest you some other alternate names, and then you will come on to the dashboard which we have just seen, and you can start exploring that particular thing. So thank you very much.
With this note, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so very much. And dear friends, as Dr. Nubhuti Yadav herself said that you should start practicing and you should start developing your own things. So dear friends, if you have any queries regarding today's topic, you can mail us at info.cc@nic.in. Definitely, we would love to solve your queries the next time when Dr. Nubhuti Yadav visits our studio. So keep watching us and keep writing to us. We would be meeting again very soon. Till then, take care. Goodbye. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so very much.
Thank you.